It's March Mania at Sports Interaction.
Wow.
NHL, NBA, March Madness, MLB, so much more. It's bananas. Bananas.
That was good spelling.
Thank you. Play Pinata Picks and Minute Madness exclusive games with insane odds you can't play anywhere else. Make your next bet at Sports Interaction. Download the app in Ontario. Use the QR code at the bottom of the screen. Or head to sportsinteraction.com/STPN to get started. It's 18 plus. Please play responsibly. Let me ask you this. Free agency for a second.
McDavid.
No. Free agency. Let's go. We're going into free agency. It's the Leafs.
Draisaitl.
And there are certain players that if you're Kyle Dubas, you don't want to let go to free agency, including yourself.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But Kyle Dubas' contract aside, Michael Bunting is a unrestricted free agent at the end of this season.
Yeah.
Mike Johnson was on overdrive the other day. And let me ask you this. Would you be comfortable with a 6-year, $24 million contract for Michael Bunting?
Oh, math.
Do the math.
$4 million
$4 million a season.
No.
No?
No, because somebody's going to pay, around that, and the Leafs can probably just pass on that, get better value elsewhere. Somewhere else.
Do they... With Michael Bunting, we have to acknowledge that, oh no, am I going to use the word? Oh no! Intangible. He has an element. I'm not going to use the word intangible. I will say, though, that he has an element that is not common. And it's definitely not common with this team and this organization. They don't have guys who they can just call up or develop that they've drafted who can pot 20 goals a season, competently play in at least your top 9, and also be an absolute rat.
If they do this deal, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to say, why couldn't they just do the Hyman deal?
Well, are we... So that's a good question.
5.5. I think it was 6 years.
Why?
No, but
why
this is Michael Bunting at 4. We're quoting.
Why don't you
why didn't you
up
keep
$1.5 million?
Hyman?
Just do the Hyman deal a year ago.
You mean like keep Hyman?
Or 2 years ago.
Here's the problem with doing the Hyman deal a year ago. You can't do that because as of yet they haven't invented time travel. So do you not
never relitigated anything in sports?
Well, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
This is a new concept, Adam. We're inventing a new podcast.
Jesse, you can't just go off script like that.
Can't go back and talk about something that happened and maybe do something else.
We can talk about it, but because you made one mistake, now you got to go make another? You let one guy go, so you have to let go of another?
No, if they sign the deal, I'm going to question, hey, why can't you just do that one? I'm going to ask you in retrospect.
Jesse, Hyman is on pace for like 75 goals and 150 points.
Unreal year.
I've already had that conversation in my head, and it's unequivocally they made a mistake.
Exactly.
I don't think there's even a debate here. Like, they fucked up.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
You look at that in retrospect, because that's my first thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Second thought's probably like, okay, now let's not make that mistake again. Maybe it's the right thing. But
So-
is Michael Bunting's that kind of?
I don't think he's got more of a finishing touch, but I don't think he has
I
the
don't think
driving
so
that,
at all.
that Hyman has. One thing
Yeah.
I will say about Hyman, and at the
I
time
agree.
we were like, wow, that seems really expensive based on what he had done.
Now
And look at what he's doing.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, you had to have, like, if you had Hyman, you wouldn't have Bunting. I think you could have had both. Because what was Bunting?
There's a reality.
Well, for sure, because with Hyman, you would have had to get Bunting because you wouldn't have been able to afford anybody else. Mm-hmm. And I'd have to go back and look at the cap-friendly situation. Maybe the Leafs just flat out couldn't have afforded it. Probably true. But I think...
You wouldn't have had a goalie.
Yeah, that's true. Like, you're
That
not...
probably would have been a good thing.
Just play with six attackers.
That's right. Exactly. I think
It's fine.
I think at the end of the day, Michael Bunting for 6 years, like, there's something about that for me that doesn't feel right. And also, I'm going to ask, I know he may be better in some ways. What's the difference between Calle Jarnkrok and Michael Bunting?
Bunting does stuff that Jarnkrok can't.
What? Like what?
Well, they do. They're just completely different players, is how I look at it. Jarnkrok is far faster, far more...
Has some finish. He's got a career high in points right now.
He's got some finish. He's got a little less, I will say.
And not as much rat.
Not nearly as much
Not
rat.
even close.
He's more versatile. He's also later in his career. So, like, the even though Bunting's 40.
But
I
this is, so
love those.
I'm not saying they're direct comparable. What I will say is Michael Bunting really worth $1.8 million per year more than Calle Jarnkrok? And Calle Jarnkrok signed a 4-year contract.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about 6 for Michael Bunting. Or is this he's a Leaf, therefore he gets a lot more attention than the same player on a different team?
What is the?
There is a bit of a Leaf tax.
I'm trying to think of a Bunting comparable on another team to like look at what they're paid. First name I came to is Travis Konechny, and Konechny's just more high end.
Yeah.
So that's not the greatest.
By the way, I hope Philly still tries to trade him because I would really like to see him be a Leaf.
Cool. But then, like, do you pay more for Konechny and lose Bunting?
Yes.
But you also have to
All
give
day.
up. But you have to give up assets for Konechny
All day
as well.
I love Konechny. They
do love
should have
Konechny.
drafted him.
Hey, I have an idea. How about both?
Why not both?
Why not both?
I hope the salary cap goes up an extreme amount and we get some fun in the NHL.
No, we don't like that.
I think what I
Sucks.
would say with the rumored Bunting contract is 6 years is a lot of years.
That's what
And-
I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, but I think you could get him at a lower cap hit if you're offering him 6 years. I could see something like a $16 million contract, 4 times 4.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little more palatable. If it's 6 years, I'm sorry, you're taking under 4.
Well, I think that Mike Johnson's point was if they're, and again, I'm paraphrasing for Mike here, so go back and listen to the interview. But essentially, he said I asked around, and that was the market value that NHL GMs and people around the league were kind of giving it. Now, listen,
Yeah, no, I know.
you have to ask people in the industry what they might think.
You do, but anytime you go around the league and ask non-Leafs teams what the Leafs should do, like, what do you think they should give
Pay
Bunting?
way too much.
I don't know. I think a lot. Yeah, I think way too much.
Yeah, they
I'm
should give us
thinking
all their first round picks.
8 times. What did Pasternak just get? Yeah, it's just around that.
Okay.
Around there.
That's one of the best deals in hockey. Just because you brought it up.
Oh, yeah.
Pasternak.
Oh,
That's unreal.
it's not so bad. But here's another important thing with Bunting is his stock internally appears to be going down. Does it not?
It does. Yep.
He's on the third line now.
Yep.
Arguing with the coach, getting asked about it, denying everything.
Well,
Yeah.
Is he a problem?
Sheldon brushed it off. And
Coming up at the top of the hour.
Nah.
He's,
Is Michael Bunting the problem?
Always has been. No, you know what? Like, I think the third line could be a better role for him.
well, sure. And you know what? You want maybe a guy like that to be on the third line on a really, really good team like the Leafs are.
Third
right?
line, second power play. If a guy gets hurt, he's on first or second. Like, he can play on any of the top 3 lines, and I'm comfortable. But then I think it was Justin Bourne posted his what he thinks the playoff lineup's going to be, and this applied to Nyes and not Bunting. But he took Aston Reese out and put Nyes on the third line. I just don't think that's going to happen, because I look at that line, I'm like, what is it though? What's its purpose other than it's a collection of 3 players who are pretty good? Like, your third and fourth line need to. I mean, you basically have 2 options: bang and crash, defensive shutdown.
Mm-hmm.
You're not putting Nyes on. You might put him on the bang and crash, but you're not putting him on the shutdown. Not to start his friggin' career.
Steve, as a ginormous Leafs fan, right now Matthew Nyes is playing in I forget the name of the tournament.
I don't see what my size has to do
Frozen
with it,
Four.
Jesse, but
The Frozen, is that what they call it?
Or the Frozen.
The NCAA
Yeah.
Championship Hockey
Yeah.
men's
College.
hockey college tournament.
High stakes things.
Are you rooting for his team to lose so that he comes to Leafs earlier?
No.
Or do you want to see him go to a championship and win that and then come off of that high?
Which camera is it? What,
Your camera 4.
What am I
Camera 4?
staring down
Steve's
the
camera
barrel
4?
of?
Okay.
Leaf fans, you want Matthew Nyes to win because it gives him experience winning, so that when he joins the Leafs, you hope he does what? And the team does what? Win! So listen, I understand getting him with the Leafs earlier appears to be the thing to do, get him accustomed, whatever. No. We need winners here. A winning culture, winning experience to provide winning in the future. Thank you.
Okay.
Vote Glenn.
The Leafs are vote Glenn.